Hello and welcome to episode 180 of Learn, Do, Become Radio. My name is Alia and today I'm really excited to focus on the topic of this podcast, which is answering the question, what makes our most successful students in the STEP program? And what are people doing that really set them up for long-term success? We've gotten these questions frequently throughout the years of offering the different programs and courses at Learn, Do, Become, and we really wanted to highlight a couple of the top principles and the top things that have been done by various community members and things that our team has noticed that have really made a big impact in how people approach organization, approach online courses, and interact with the available community to see these impacts and successes in their lives. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. And just as a quick side note, we have a couple of options for our community in how they can interact with Team Learn, Do, Become and our community in setting up a command central during the month of February 2023. We've put together a whole page for you, and you can find that at learndobecome.com/start today. And on that page, you'll find information about our upcoming 4 weeks to finish program, which is personalized group coaching. You'll find information about the 1 month timeline we're going to be sharing each day in the Step Mastery Facebook group. And we also have a fun calendar that is available to our entire community with resources and little ideas or podcasts to listen to each day to help motivate and encourage you as you set up your Command Central. And on that page, you'll find our Organized Mindset audio series, which is super fun. And it is a 6-part audio series that has a little corresponding worksheet. And it's just a great resource as far as organization goes. So check out that page, learndobecome.com/start today for all of those resources in one place for you. And without further ado, we'll just jump right into the main topic of our podcast, which is answering the question, what makes our most successful students? And of course, most successful students is in quotes because we're not judging whether or not someone is successful or not based on how their house looks or how their email inbox looks or how their paper piles are going. We're really basing that on the basis of how are people feeling? Even if the house doesn't look perfect, are you feeling more calm? Does your mind feel more at peace? Do you feel like you are able to achieve your purpose in life, that you feel excited about each new day? My mom loves saying the phrase that you can wake up excited and go to bed content. That's how we measure success. We're not trying to give you metrics of how many perfect piles of clothes you have to have folded or how your living room needs to look. Nothing like that. It's very much on the basis of how are you feeling and what are other community members doing that have helped them be set up for long-term success so that these wins and these exciting moments of, wow, I feel so good, I feel organized, aren't just fleeting. They aren't just something short-lived, that they'll be something long-term that can be enjoyed just for a long time and that they can be maintained. That's the whole purpose of these systems. And one of our team members, Taryn, actually recorded a special Facebook Live video for our 4 weeks to finish members, and she was addressing these questions as well and focusing on some of the strategies and things that have helped previous members of the program to be successful. And as we talked about this as a team, my mom, April, said we should do a podcast on this. This would be something really helpful to the wider community. And so the things I'm sharing today are actually from my team members, Taryn and Jill, as they were both brainstorming for what they wanted to share with the 4 weeks to finish community. So I don't take credit for these ideas. I think they are some great ideas come up by our team, and I'm just excited to share them and expand on them a little bit. So first and foremost, what we've noticed that really helps people be set up for success is asking questions. And this might seem really simple or like, yeah, obviously, if you don't understand something, go ask a question. But sometimes it can be really hard to ask a question. Sometimes it can feel like everyone else already knows what's going on. Everyone else has it together. Maybe you don't want to bother people with a question you think has been asked a bunch of times already. And yeah, that question might be asked a few hundred times, maybe not actually 100 times, but that question might be very commonly asked within the community, but that doesn't mean it's a bad one. If anything, that means that on the Learn, Do, Become website, we're going to have a lot of resources on that topic. Like, let's say you have a question about routines. What are routines? How do I get past routines that I really don't like, but I know I need to do? There's resources for that already on our website for anyone to access. There's podcasts, there's lots of other like little write-ups after the podcast. There's even worksheets that go along with certain topics. And so I think that the biggest thing that we can encourage you to do is ask questions, and asking questions in a way that's constructive and really looking for positive just like positive feedback and positive information from the community, instead of being more negative or frustrated, to really ask those questions in a light of wanting to become more educated, wanting to improve your situation, and really wanting to explore the different options that are available. And we also have a Learn, Do, Become free Facebook group community, which has so many awesome members in it. And we've seen countless times over and over again when people have questions about the part of their step system that's not quite working, or they have questions about what other community members have done in a similar situation that they're facing. The responses are incredible, and it's really cool to see how the whole community comes together to answer these questions that are asked by fellow community members. And if you're not part of that Facebook group yet already, the direct link to it is learndobecome.com/FB family, like Facebook family, because that's what we are over there. We're all a big community, big family, all looking to improve our lives and go towards the same goals. So that's number one, ask questions. And if you think in the back of your mind, so this question's probably already been asked before, then take a second to search for that question on our website or in the Facebook group and try to see if somebody has already asked and received some great answers. And then if you don't find what you're looking for, then you can be the one to ask. And our team and community are going to be more than excited to help you find an answer. The second is to show up. Now, in this context, we were talking about our 4 weeks to finish program and how it's so important to show up for either the live calls or watching the replays and stuff like that. But this also applies to people in our entire community, where you have the ability and you have the whole support of our team and community to show up for yourself and to really tackle those things that are weighing on you, that are pain points for you. It's important that once you're able to recognize those things, to not feel bad about it, to not feel like you're the only one going through those challenges, but to realize that you have the potential to look for either a temporary solution or a routine or a long-term solution that can really address the pain point or the challenge that you're facing. And then, of course, if you are in any of our other programs, like for example, in Step Mastery, we offer a few additional bonus calls. And if you invite yourself to show up either live for those calls or show up for the replay and really invest time in yourself and in making sure that you're able to really take in this new information that could be helpful to you, that's going to be life-changing. And sometimes it's easier said than done. Sometimes life gets really busy. But even something that I do when I'm not feeling great or when things are just really busy is I'll just turn on one of our calls that maybe I missed, or if I want to catch the replay of, I'll just turn it on and listen to it while I'm going about my day-to-day tasks of either doing stuff around the house or driving places, taking a walk, stuff like that. But really making sure that I'm showing up not only for myself, but then also showing up as part of the community to really make sure that I'm looking for ways to strengthen others and myself at the same time. And number 3 is that the most successful students in the STEP program or in our community have given themselves grace and they are patient with themselves and with the things that they're trying to implement. This is something that Jill shared with us, and one of the things that she likes to think about is that disorganization doesn't happen in one day or a week or even a month. It's something that happens over time, and it can be a result of a lot of different aspects of our current situation. It can be a result of the systems not quite working and people getting really busy or not knowing quite what to do to change what's existing in their current workplaces or homes or personal lives, and that's okay. And Jill really emphasized that implementing change will likely be met with some kind of mental resistance because change is hard, and trusting ourselves through the process of change, of setting up a command central and a step system is a really big ask of ourselves sometimes. But that's where there's support from the community, from the team, from people maybe in your own personal circle that you're surrounded by. There's a lot of resources and people that are rooting for you and that are there to help you, and that giving yourself grace is one of the most impactful things that you can do for yourself, because obviously we would never speak to a friend who's struggling with something in a critical tone or tell them that they just need to hurry up and get everything together. We would never do that to someone that we love that's struggling. So when we do that to ourselves, it's this little contradiction, right? I think my mom has talked about that a little bit, where the same way we would talk to our friends and give them grace is the same way that we need to approach our own situations and our own process as we either build a command central, try to set up systems that might be kind of intimidating at first, but ultimately will be really helpful. And just wanted to emphasize that. And that's something that, as I've grown up with the step system in my life, I think my mom really started implementing it in our family between the ages of when I was 8 and 10 years old. And it's just so cool to see that being raised in that environment from the very start has really helped me to have this kind of outlook of patience with myself and understanding, and not becoming frustrated when I don't process things as fast as I would like to, or when things don't look exactly how I'd hoped. That because I have my system in place to break down projects, to maintain routines, to stay on top of all the things that come at me in my busy life, because I have that kind of patience with myself, I'm able to feel a lot more confident, a lot more calm, and we want the exact same thing for you. And so that's just number 3, have grace with yourself. It's hard, it's not something natural, but it's something so important. And then number 4 is to create bookmarks for easy reference. Obviously, digital clutter is a real thing. I think we've all experienced that at some point, with lots and lots of open tabs or lots of things open on our computer desktop. Sometimes digital clutter, it just seems to happen whether we like it or not. And, that's always something you could work on as a project later on to tidy up digital clutter, and then create a special routine for yourself so that digital clutter doesn't become commonplace. But in the meantime, being able to know exactly where to go for your different resources, whether it's for organization, whether it's for an online course, whether it's for something that you're working on that you really want to stay up on and not lose track of, that can be super helpful, is just bookmarking those websites for easy reference. That's something I did recently. It doesn't apply it does apply to the STEP program, but it's more something I did with school, where I had a big research project that I was absolutely dreading. And of course, it was one of my current projects, and it felt like it was just consuming all of my joy because it was not a fun research project. And I felt like whenever I sat down to work on it, I just felt so frustrated, and I just wanted it to be over with as fast as possible. But I found that when I bookmarked all of the different pages that I had to use while doing this research project, I bookmarked my rough draft document, I bookmarked my library's website that had all of my sources that I was using, and I bookmarked a couple other pages that I was using actively for that research. And then it became a little less painful when I was trying to sit down and work on it, because I realized I have all these things ready. All I need to do is click on 4 tabs and open them up. They're bookmarked, they're safe. All I need to do is open them up and then work on my homework and this little research assignment I gave myself like 15 to 20 minute blocks of time because I didn't want to do more than that. But once I was able to do that, it felt like I was able to start working on it so much more quickly, and I felt a lot more confident with the process because I didn't have to take any extra brain power or time to pull everything up, log into things, find things. It just saved me a lot of time. And so maybe that could be something that helps you as you're setting up your Command Central. If you are in one of our programs, to bookmark some of the pages that you're going to be coming back to frequently, or if you have a podcast that you're going to listen to in tandem with setting something up, you could bookmark that so that when you are ready to work on it, it is right there waiting for you. And one more thing to add to that list of things to bookmark, if you're someone who is really interested in listening to our past podcasts or checking out our past resources that we've put together and shared from our website, we have an incredible directory of all of our podcasts, and it's put together by our team member Taryn. It's so wonderful, and you can find that at learndobecome.com/directory. And on that page, it has all of our podcasts labeled from like beginning to end, all the different categories. There's even a section showing podcast length. So if you're like, I just need a 10-minute podcast, or I have a long time I want to fill with awesome podcasts, there are so many great resources for you there. And that can be another great way to work on building your Command Central and strengthening your foundation in these step principles, just by having the little page bookmarked of our whole directory of podcasts and even little worksheets and things that go along with some of the podcasts. Okay, and now for number 5. This will be the very last thing that I'll share in this podcast, just to keep it nice and short. And as always, we have all of our show notes available for our podcasts, and it's a little, almost like a written version on our website. And you can find that at learndobecome.com/episode 180, and everything will be right there for you to access. And the last thing, number 5 from Taryn, was consider how you learn best and think about how you can incorporate your learning style into the program. We know there's a lot of different learning styles. Some people really want to have everything written out, and they work better by just being able to read everything, take in that information, and apply it. For some people, they really rely on listening to somebody tell them about the STEP program, listening to podcasts, or listening to videos. Sometimes people are more visual, where they need to see the things step by step happening. There's so many different learning styles. Those are just like the very, very top couple that I'm thinking of. But let's say you really have accountability, or you really want to be able to ask lots of questions while you're learning. Just think about how your learning style has worked best in the past. Like, what kind of things have been most effective for you when you were in either a school setting or a work training setting, or even a family setting when you're setting up systems and learning and teaching alongside your children. Just thinking about that will really help, because I've found that I learn best when I'm teaching someone else about the subject at hand. And I think that's really helpful for me as a STEP coach, where I can get better at understanding STEP principles and knowing how to process things, how to help people with their own STEP questions when I am teaching. And so if you're also in that boat, maybe you could find either someone in your household or a friend, and you could teach them what you're learning so that it will strengthen your understanding and your knowledge of the STEP principles. And I just think that's a really fun last point to focus on, where we don't always talk about that as we're adults and in online courses and online programs, that there are different ways to learn and understand and take in information, and that the way that works well for some people might not be ideal for you. And you can figure out which resources would best support that, And then obviously you can find lots of great resources either in our program that are written or video resources. We have an entire YouTube channel full of great stuff for you to check out. All of our podcasts, like I mentioned, there's really no end in sight. And we have our free community Facebook group. So there's all the bases, everything's covered, everything is hopefully something in there can be helpful to you and your step journey. All right, and as I'm going to close up, I just want to invite you one more time to check out our page, learndobecome.com/start today. And on that page, you'll find the 3 different ways that we've highlighted for how you can build your Command Central during the month of February alongside our team and or by yourself with the community, however you choose to do it. We have information about 4 weeks to finished, which is starting on February 2nd, a little less than a week from when this podcast goes live. So that's really exciting that we're about to start our group coaching session. We have office hours 4 times a week with our team where you can come on like a Zoom call with us and ask your specific questions. We have 4 trainings a week by April with the whole team there, and little homework assignments. We have accountability partner opportunities. It's really cool. And you can find all the information on our Start Today page, learndobecome.com/start today. Or if you want to jump right to the 4 weeks page, it's learndobecome.com/4 and weeks. And then there's also 2 other options on there on that page, either for following along with our 1-month timeline that we'll be sharing in our Step Mastery Facebook group. We'll have a daily post with little suggestions, recommendations of how you can start setting up your Command Central during the month. And then there's also a fun calendar, as we call it, the Play Along at Home calendar, which is just a bunch of fun ideas that you will really be great when put into practice that go along with some of our podcasts and past articles on our website. And it's all available to any member of our community, no matter if they've purchased a program. And then below all of those resources on that page, we have our Organized Mindset audio series. And there's 6 audios, and it goes into depth into 6 different categories and parts of organization. And it's just a great audio resource that you could listen to while you're out and about doing things at home, whatever. It's really fun, and I love listening to them. So we hope you have a wonderful weekend when this is going live. If you're listening to it later, hope you're having a great weekday. And we would love to interact with you, especially during the month of February, to build a Command Central. This is something that has totally changed my life. I've had my Command Central built since I was 17 years old. And so for the past 6 years, it's been 6 years, I've had my Command Central set up. It's been fully functional, and it's gotten me through high school, college, and the beginning of married life. And it's just, I'm never going back, right? I'm never going to not use my Command Central because it's been such a great system that I can totally rely on for every part of my life. And I hope you have a just wonderful day, no matter when you're listening to this. And if you have any questions, we would love to support you, and we'd love to hear from you. So thank you again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.